Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, April 10th. Over the last 1 to 2 weeks, we've seen storms move across mainly the northern half of the Great Basin, bringing above normal precipitation to some areas of Idaho, western and northern Nevada, into northern Utah. We've also seen a couple of pockets of above normal precipitation further south. New snowfall over the last 72 hours is shown here with light amounts in central Idaho, western Wyoming, and eastern and southern Idaho, but we've in turn turned more into a drier pattern the last day or so. Currently, our snowpack is still near to above normal region-wide, despite the warmer and drier conditions. Satellite loop from this morning shows a ridge of high pressure building into the west coast, and this will continue moving eastward over the next couple of days across the Great Basin, bringing warmer and drier conditions with temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal in some areas, sunny skies and lighter winds. Looking at later today, you can see generally again that ridge dominating with warm and dry conditions region-wide. Winds underneath the ridge will remain light across most areas. There will be some breezy winds over central Utah and downwind of the mountains on the east side and over parts of eastern Utah, but otherwise high mixing heights and high dispersion. Looking at temperatures will reach the 60s or mid-70s across much of Nevada and low 80s in the far south, and remain in the 50s and 60s over the northern and eastern side of the Great Basin in the lower elevations. Relative humidity will remain below 15% in the south and above 20% in the north. For tomorrow, that ridge moves further east across much of the Great Basin, keeping those above normal temperatures, sunny skies, and lighter winds, mostly region-wide. We will see dispersion improve a little bit over western Idaho and western Nevada as winds pick up well in advance of this next area of low pressure. Transport winds you can see picking up in northern California and far northwest Nevada and western Idaho, with gusts generally between 20 and 30 miles per hour. Otherwise, mixing heights will continue to rise. Temperatures will also continue rising, and Thursday will be a peak day for temperatures in much of Nevada, with highs in the mid to upper 70s into the mid 80s. And then over Idaho and Utah, we will see increases in temperatures, with valley locations reaching above 70 degrees. Relative humidity again remains the lowest over the southern half of the Great Basin. For Friday, the area of low pressure off the west coast will start to approach San Francisco, and this will bring an uptick in winds and some moisture to western and northern Nevada and also western Idaho, mostly in the form of cloud cover, but also with the chance of some light showers. But really, it's the increase in winds that will be the main story on Friday. So we will see better dispersion region-wide. Transport winds obviously will increase significantly. We'll see transport winds in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range across many areas of the Great Basin, but the strongest over western Nevada and the Sierra, where we will see gusts over 50 miles per hour. Mixing heights on Friday will likely be their highest across the Great Basin. Temperatures will also reach their peak across Idaho and Utah and into Wyoming, and start to be on the downward trend for parts of Nevada, however still well above normal region-wide. Relative humidity will remain the lowest over the southern half of the region, south of Interstate 80, and above 20% further north. 3-day precipitation taking us through Saturday morning shows the only showers will be over the western half of Idaho, northern and western Nevada, and the Sierra, and most areas only seeing light amounts of precipitation with the exception of the higher peaks in the Sierra. For Saturday, we'll continue to be under the influence of this low as it tracks further east going into the weekend and eventually across the area next week. So we will see the better chances of moisture over western areas of the Great Basin with still dry and windy conditions over southern and eastern areas, so good dispersion region-wide. And then on Sunday, that low will track a little bit further to the south, and then by Monday eventually trek over eastern areas of the Great Basin, so we'll see that moisture spread across most areas with cooler temperatures, cloud cover, and some scattered showers. Also, snow levels will be variable, so we'll see snow in the highest elevations and most likely more rain showers and possibly thunderstorms, especially on the leading edge into the weekend, and then possibly snow levels dropping going into early next week. And then by Tuesday, that low remains in place with moisture in place across the Great Basin. So precipitation for Saturday through early Monday shows mainly across California and into much of Nevada. However, the heavier precipitation is definitely off to the west, with only lighter showers elsewhere. And then as we get into Monday through Wednesday is when the low tracks further east, and it will push that precipitation eastward. Again, still only relatively light amounts for Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah going into the middle of next week. So the 7-day total precipitation shows the only dry spots really being southern and eastern Utah, parts of the Arizona Strip and southern Nevada, and also possibly a donut hole in southeast Idaho and northern Utah. The 8 to 14 day outlook takes us through April 23rd, shows generally cooler conditions in northern and central areas of the Great Basin with possibly wetter conditions further east. So we're kind of in that normal to below normal precipitation regime going into the second 2 weeks in April. Again, we're still expecting a fairly active weather pattern, but just no real heavy amounts of precipitation, just more light and showery, but enough unsettled weather to keep fire conditions at a minimum. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Friday for the latest updates.